Welcome, everyone. I'm Luna Goldberg, the Education Manager at the Jewish Museum of Florida, FIU. On behalf of the Jewish Museum of Florida, FIU, and the Program in the Study of Spirituality, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the first program in our Be Well, a Wellness Program series. Tonight's event, Feng Shui Your Home and Change Your Life, features Etta Birol. For nearly 20 years, Etta has been doing Feng Shui consultations for homes and offices, giving lectures and teaching around mindfulness, meditation, Feng Shui, and more. Etta blends all that she has studied to help people heal and change their lives. This evening's program is sponsored in part by the Greater Miami Jewish Federation's Incubator Grant, the Stephen J. Green School of International and Public Affairs, and the Program in the Study of Spirituality at the Green School. Throughout tonight's program, members of the audience are encouraged to post questions to the chat that I will later pose to Etta near the end of the program in our Q&A section. Without further ado, please welcome Etta Birol.
Welcome everyone. I'm Eda. Thank you for joining me tonight. Today we will learn, I want to share my screen. Can I do that?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Okay, perfect. You can see, right? Okay, so welcome again, sorry for that. So today we're going to learn how to create a better and harmonious life using Feng Shui in our homes. By using this practice, we will learn how we're connected to the places we live in. We'll discover new things, affirm what's good in our lives, and see our blockages through the spaces we live in. And eventually, we'll do our best to apply some cures to better our lives. Before we start, I want to share. Okay, I want to share my journey with you. And so you get to know me a little bit better. So as long as you remember, I've always been into the unknown, the unseen, and the energies. My spiritual journey started probably when I was 7, 8 years old, with questions like, where am I? What am I doing? Who am I? And by my 20s, following my mom's footsteps, I found myself doing yoga, meditation, somehow found myself into Kabbalah, Kabbalistic teachings. And so one day, my husband came from a business trip and he came with 2 interesting books that I'd never learned and never read before. It was about. So I said, what is it? Like, I've never heard this. So I've started reading, and when I started reading, I immediately knew that I had to learn this. I'm from Turkey originally, from Istanbul. And in 2002, there was no one in Istanbul to teach me Feng Shui. So I had to, search for a teacher. And there was really no one. But there's a saying, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So that's exactly what happened. I was ready. And then I found this American woman who was living in Turkey for the last year. And she had a mom who was a Feng Shui master in Los Angeles. And she was coming to spend the whole summer with her daughter. So I convinced her to teach me. And then there it started my journey with Feng Shui. But of course, my Jewishness in me needed a verification. So when I was visiting Tzfat, I heard that there were people who were doing kosher Feng Shui. So I tried to connect with them. That was my verification. We actually never did connect, but that's when I started blending everything together, bringing the 2 things together, doing my own Feng Shui. So let's talk about what Feng Shui is. Okay, I'm sorry, but my screen is not working. Okay, here, it's working. Okay. Feng Shui is the art of balancing the energy of the places we live in. With this balance, we want to create harmony and prosperity in our lives. So when we're aware of the environments that we live in, we feel the life energy better. And then with applying little cures here and there, we kind of start seeing cures, changes in our lives. So we already know what life energy is. We call it ruach, Chinese call it qi, Indians call it prana. This is the life energy that exists in everything. In life, there are things that we see, like you're seeing my screen, the table, the wall, everything. That's the visible energy. And there are the things that we don't see. Those are the invisible energies that are our thoughts, our soul, and our emotions. These two fields have an effect on each other, and it's constant. Constantly, it's an effect. For example, when we enter a beautiful house, we feel uplifted. And or when we feel down, we barely choose bright colors to wear. We'll go for the darker colors. So whatever we're feeling has an effect on whatever we choose, and whatever area we're going in has an effect on our psyche. So Feng means wind. That symbolizes the invisible energies. Shu means water. That symbolizes the visible energy. This is Feng Shui is kind of creating a dance between these two, making sure that everything is flowing correctly. So, before pandemic started, we were all visiting each other's houses, right? Like everybody was going to friends' house, like here and there, or going to places. Now for the last year, we're basically home, but you know that when you enter houses, you don't always have the same feeling. Sometimes you'll feel calmer, and sometimes you'll feel tense according to the places you go in. So this is because what happens is, if there is a harmony in the family that's living in the house is going to reflect that harmony. But if the family or the people living in the house are quarreling each time and they're not really agreeing with each other, then the house will reflect that energy to us. That's how we plant our energies to our environments. Just to elaborate on this a little bit. We plant our feelings, our thoughts, our emotions to every object around us. I want to share with you a small story that for you to understand all this planting formation. Years ago, when I was doing a Feng Shui consultation, my very good friend's sister called me, and she had just been married about 6 months. And I went into her house and I saw that she was kind of sad, and the house looked really like very tense. And I started walking around and I said, "What's happening? What's going on?" She really didn't say anything, but then I had this weird feeling, and I started seeing all these images here, like you see, like a woman looking out of the window waiting for someone. And I saw like small statues, women statues standing alone. So we talked a little bit, and I left her home and I called my friend and I said, "What's going on with your sister?" Like, she's my very good friend. She said, "Is she okay? Because she seems so sad, like there is bad energy in the house. What's going on?" And actually she told me, "Ada," she said, they're so unhappy. They're about to get a divorce, and the husband never comes home, always at work. And she's basically waiting for him to come every day from work." So what happens, she was already feeling this, whatever she was feeling, and the artwork she chose to display, to put in her house, was a single woman waiting for someone to come. So we are this much connected to all objects around us. We choose specifically without even realizing. We make our choices according to our feelings and our thoughts. So this is possible because we're all connected. There is one energy that we call Ruah, life energy, and without that life energy, nothing exists. We know it. We're all here because of that energy. We're all connected, human to human. We're connected to objects. We're connected to the nature. This is all we want, is this to arrange in Feng Shui so that this energy flows comfortably in our house. What happens is, you've heard this probably before, what is inside me is outside of me, and what is outside of me is inside me. Everything is a reflection. Whatever I have is a reflection of what I have in me. So, because we're all connected, there are reasons why we choose specific objects. This is the reason why we choose a specific painting. This is the reason why we are drawn to specific people. So all the stuff and objects you have around you are in your house. If you look around, they're really not objects. Maybe we thought of them as objects, but they're not. They're a part of us. Once we understand how we are connected with everything around us, that we want to have this energy flow around us, and also when this energy flows in our house, we have a better flow in our bodies. Now, I want to share with you what's our main problem, main blockage in preventing this flow, energy to flow. This is our clutter. It doesn't look nice, right? Even looking at the picture, you feel uncomfortable, right? Like, what is this? Like, really? So can you imagine, even when you're looking at this picture, you feel weird. Can you imagine when we're living in these environments, what happens to us actually? I mean, my son is a teenager. I sometimes refuse to go into his room. I'm trying to explain the effects that might have on him, but they're teens, they're gonna get it. So what happens with clutter? It blocks our energy. So what is clutter? Let's open up what is clutter. Clutter is messiness around. Anything that we don't use or we don't love. Too much stuff in a small area. Unfinished objects, unfinished projects are only a few things that define clutter, but these are the main things that define clutter. So life energy needs to flow, but unfortunately, can you imagine in this room on the left-hand side, in the bedroom, that energy can flow nowhere. So what we want is that energy to flow like a river. Think about this river. This river flows beautifully, but when it has a lot of rocks or trees or dirt on it, what happens? The river stops flowing. And when it stops flowing, it gets stuck. When it gets stuck, it gets stagnant. When it gets stagnant, it creates a smell. Okay? This is exactly what happens when we have clutter. The energy in our homes, we want it to flow like a river. But it gets stagnant too. When the energy gets stagnant, then we start having issues in our lives. Or whatever, if we're having issues in our life, we create that clutter in that space. So let's go here. This looks better, right? This is a beautifully clutter-free house. So we'll go in depth about how to arrange more about the plans and everything, but I want to emphasize clutter clearing so much. We all have clutter, we just have to minimize it. But just to explain you a little bit better, I want to share a story with you. So one guy, I don't remember his name, but he went into a workshop and listened to a Feng Shui master. He was in depression and he needed help. So he asked the Feng Shui master to go home and make an appointment immediately because he was feeling so depressed. And so what happened, the Feng Shui master said, I'm sorry, I am going on a vacation. I can't do anything for the upcoming 3 weeks, but what I'll suggest you to do, please go home and start decluttering your drawers, your closets, your house. And then in three weeks, when I come back, then I'll come to you. So the guy probably thought, she was really like not making sense, but nevertheless, because he was so depressed, he decided to listen to this woman and went home and started decluttering. He decluttered the drawers, closets, every place, every little single place in the house. Moving forward 3 weeks later, the Feng Shui consultant came back and she called the guy, and the guy said, you know what, just by clearing my clutter that I've held on to for so many years, I'm already feeling better. We'll just have to reschedule for so much later. So this is so important. Without clutter clearing, really, the Feng Shui will be very minimal. So let's understand a little bit about clutter clearing. Clutter clearing is going to give us a lot of information about ourselves. For example, there are people who like keeping the old stuff. They keep the old stuff, they hold on. These people are the people who hold on to the past. They don't forget, they don't forgive, which creates a blockage in life, in the future for them. There are people who hold on to past letters that they've received from other people that have resentments. That had created anger in them before. They keep it just to get back to them at one point. These people have difficulty moving forward in life. There are people who keep starting projects and they don't finish, and their desks or their house is full of unfinished projects. These people will always have difficulty to find the self-confidence to start a new project. And every time they will see those projects, they will blame themselves. They will blame themselves saying, hey, you started, you didn't finish it. You started, you didn't finish it. So, and the blame game, once the blame game starts, then it doesn't end. So there are people, especially women, who keep a dress that, we don't necessarily like and it doesn't fit anymore, but we just keep it, just in case maybe in the future, maybe we'll just wear it, we might need it. And, if I need it, what will I do? So this also creates a message to the universe. These women, me included, sometimes I'm learning, this gives the message to the universe saying that, hey, universe, God, I don't trust you to provide me what I need when I need. So if you love it, that's fine. But if you don't really like it, and if you're just keeping it because you might maybe one day need it and it's keeping space, it's not going to work. Plus, life provides us with new things when there is space for it. If we're really filling up everything with our old stuff, where do we have the space for the new things that are going to come up to our lives? And one more thing that I think it's very important, and I've found that everybody has this. If somebody gave you a gift that you really didn't like, that you truly, truly hated, okay? But the gift came from your, mother-in-law, father-in-law, your very good friend, your aunt, and you feel obliged to display it in your living room because it's a gift, but you hate it. But every time you go there, you see it, but you tell to yourself, okay, this is a gift, I have to keep it. Okay, please don't do it. This is the biggest torture that you can do to yourself, because every time you look at that gift, you're not going to be uplifted. Your energy is going to go down. So we don't want that. So I have a friend, and her name is Raquel. She's from Turkey. She's a dear friend of mine. And she was gifted a beautiful carpet, but not for her. For her, it was a terrible carpet, and it was gifted to her by her mother-in-law. And her mother-in-law was a very, is a very strict woman. So my friend felt the need to keep it. So when I used to go to her house, she always used to take me to her bedroom. And I'm like, Raquel, why aren't we sitting in the living room? You have a beautiful living room. And one day she confessed me that she never ever sits in the living room. She hates going into the living room. So one day I said, okay, I'm just going to come and, just work with the energies and see what's wrong. So we realized that she hated the carpet so much that she basically refused to use the living room. So eventually, she took the carpet out, and you know what? The mother-in-law never even noticed. It's so interesting. So, so what we want, life is really not always that. Life is beautiful, but not always that easy. So what we want is really to be able to create a, like beautiful and nice environment in our homes. So for that, I have an assignment for you. When you are finished with this Zoom, and tonight or tomorrow, when you have time, I would like to go around your house, okay? And I would like to, first of all, look at everything that's around you. First of all, acknowledge that they are there to help your lives. And then I want you to check them out. And take each object or just look at it and ask yourself these 3 questions. Do I like it? Do I love it? Do I want to see this around me? And what memories or feelings does it give me? So this is really important, because when you do this, when you're cleaning up your clutter, you're actually cleaning up the clutter that you already built up in yourself, because this is a two-way interaction. Remember, I said what's inside me is outside of me, and what's outside of me is inside of me. So either you're doing a clutter clearing from the outside, you're going to feel it inside, or if you're working with yourself, praying, meditation, or anything, any spiritual studies, when you're clearing up, you won't be able to stand that clutter anymore. So it goes both ways. So this, I also want to emphasize this last, what memories or feelings does it give me, for the last, like, one more time. It's so important because I've seen people putting in pictures that they've taken with their families in the past. Okay, so it's beautiful. I love it. We should all do it. We should all have a lot of pictures around us. But there's one thing I want everyone to be careful. When you put that picture, it might be a beautiful picture of the family, but if that day you just had a fight with your son or your friend or whatever, and if you know that while during that picture you were sad, don't use that picture. Use something else. Use pictures that you were really very happy when it was taken. Okay. So yin and yang. I'm sure you're all familiar with the yin and yang. This is the perfect balance between 2 aspects of the energies. Like one cannot exist if the other one, it doesn't exist. So day wouldn't exist if we didn't have the night, or soft. We didn't know what soft would be if there was no hard. So we know that everything is created in opposites. And what in Feng Shui, we want the balance. So it's interesting because as personalities, we're either more yin or more yang. What it means is a yin person is mostly more calmer, like they will be calmer, quieter, more introvert. They want to be, like by their corner. They're more quiet, quieter people. You just leave them alone, they'll be okay. And young people are very outgoing. They want to go out, they want to have sunlight, they're like louder. So these 2 energies go back and forth. And in personality, so mostly a yin person will be attracted to a yang person. But what we're interested in Feng Shui right now, if I'm a yin person, which means if I like if I'm soft, I'm quiet, I'm calm, you know, the environment that's going to support me will be an environment with candles, pillows, curtains, you know, like a lot of big pillows on the floor, wood most probably. But if I'm married to a young person who can't stand this, young person who wants marbles, whites, blacks, like no curtains, then I will feel so insecure that I'll start having problems without even realizing. You can't put me in that situation, and then you can't put a young, very outgoing person into a room where it's super yin with a lot of candles. That person will feel suffocated. So the importance of this is to know who we are. Like once we know who we are, then we're able to implement in our decoration what we need and what we can use. So of course, this is the biggest question that I always have. What if the wife is super yin and the husband super yang? How do they find the middle? So you compromise. In that case, you'll just maybe the living room will be yang, and you'll have a corner, a yin corner, and then the room will be yin. Like you have to work on it has to be a mutual agreement on how you're going to do it. But one person should not override the other person, because the person who is really put down will start feeling headaches, will start feeling uncomfortable, will not want to be in the house. So these are all psychological reflections of living in a house that we really don't like. So in Feng Shui, out of these yin yang, we also balance the energies with 5 elements. These 5 elements, I'm just going to go very quickly. I know we still have time, but not. Okay, so some of you will feel closer, like drawn to a wood element. You'd feel better in greens, in wood material, and lots of tall plants. And maybe some of you will feel closer to a fire element, where you'll have like colors with bright colors and leathers and feathers all around, and maybe spiky plants. Some of you will be maybe drawn to an earth element. I'm definitely an earth element. In this house, I can live forever. That's what I think. So some of you could be drawn to a water element, which is mostly darker colors, a lot of glasses, a lot of curvy shapes. And some of you could be drawn to a metal element. And so maybe I was planning to do a small meditation, Luna. Maybe at the end, maybe for 3 minutes, I want to do a meditation, just to walk everyone through, just to see what their element is and how they will feel comfortable in which environment, okay? If we have the time. So now that we learned a little bit about the energy, how we're connected, how clutter affects us, and how yin and yang is important in balancing the energies, like the 2 opposites. We don't have to call it yin and yang, it's 2 opposite energies. And then we know there are some elements that the Feng Shui uses to also decorate the houses, put different energies. Now, I want to share with you the most important thing in Feng Shui. So this is the energy map. It has 9 energy areas. So in Feng Shui, our houses are divided into 9 areas, and each area represents what you see here: career, knowledge, self-cultivation, family, wealth and prosperity, fame, relationship, children, creativity, career, travel, and helpful people. So in a perfect world, maybe in the past, the houses were all square or rectangles. So this shape is going to stretch to be a rectangle, to cover a rectangle, or, just for a square. But now these days, of course, the houses are not square, so there are a lot of missing areas That's good. That we're going to see now. So how we apply this map, we put the map onto the plan of our house, or we draw a sketch of our homes, and we apply this on top of the plan, making sure that the entrance door is going to be either on the knowledge and self-cultivation, on career, or on travel, helpful people. So here is an example. You see, this is a house, and there are 9 squares in the rectangle, and there is one here that is expanding, and the yellow one. You see that? Okay. So this is how we put the energy, put the map. Once we put the map, we know which area is what. So of course, since the houses are not square, we're going to have issues. So for example, in a house, let's look at the first image. In a house where you see this heart, where there is a missing area, we just check which area that corresponds that in BAGUA map, in the energy map. So in this picture, the family, the marriage and love and marriage area is missing. And in the second one, in the question mark, that's the wealth area. So in that house, the wealth area is missing. The third one underneath, the career area is missing. So why this is important? Because remember how I told you the single woman who displayed paintings of a single woman? Because she chose that, because she was feeling that, it was like it's an action and reaction all working together. So here too, if we have any issues in our lives, we'll find something that represents it in our homes. So BAGUA maps is the best way to find where the problem is. So let's go very quickly over the fields. So career is, like when you want to get a job, when you want to get a promotion, and this is very important. This is mostly the entrance of the house, and this also tells us, besides work, where you are in life at that moment. Are you happy with who you are? Do you want to make any changes? So this is the area where we work on. So if you're looking for a new business opportunity, if I need a new position, more success, or if you feel lost in life, or you can't find your direction, then we recommend using dark colors in this area, making it clutter-free, adding water elements, maybe a fountain or an aquarium. So knowledge and self-cultivation area is, this is also related to our personal achievements. So if we want to work on our personality, if we're not at peace with ourselves, or if we want to advance in any studies, this is the area that we work in. As you see, each area has a color. It has a gray, blue, green. So we use the colors that match this area. So if you want to, let's say, advance more in Judaism, then you put Judaism books there. You put the Torah or any book that you're reading. If you're studying self-help, you just put your desk, if you can, in that area, just to enhance that energy more. So family and health area, it's this green area. This is the area that we definitely look all the time to see if you're having health problems, if you want to repair any family relationships. Our close friends are like our family. So if we really want to get better with them, we check out this area. Wealth and prosperity, of course, if we want to be wealthy, definitely, but only that, it's also with blessings. Like whatever blessings we have, it's this area. We have a lot of cures. We use greens and lavenders in this area. We put arts of wealth, our valuable objects, a lot of crystals in this area. Fame. Fame is really not to be very popular, but it just if we want to be known more for our profession, if you want to be famous. So this is a story about Madonna. When she was years ago, when she was starting to be famous, she wanted to be so famous that she kept a light on her fame corner, which is the when you enter your house, right at the very end of the alignment. And then also we use this area, say if there are a lot of gossips going on around you or me, whoever, we want to put a cactus in that area to prevent that. So this is all working with the energies. Love and marriage. Love and marriage is the area definitely everybody always looks into. If we want to, I'm sorry, I just made a mistake here. If you want to improve, oh, sorry, just mixed up the, okay, just gonna pass this, but so love and marriage is, of course, if you're having, if you want to make your relationship better with your husband, if you're looking for a partner, this is the area that we're looking. So it's interesting because I've been to a lot of homes where there were clutter in the love and marriage area, or the area was missing, and there were a lot of problems, marital problems in the marriage, and most of them, a few of them told me not to even fix it because they were already, they've already decided not to continue. But there were a lot that we really fixed, and they were just, it's not just only by fixing. Of course, Feng Shui helps. I just want to make that clear, of course. But of course, if I go to a room and change two objects, nothing is going to change. This all requires work together. When someone goes to that area and says, hey, I need a change in my love life, for example, let's do something about it. We're already working with the universe and telling that universe we're ready. Our intent is to do something about it. So where to start better if not your home? So with that intention, once we start working in that area, that's definitely opening up the energies, just to bring people into your lives, or maybe more wealth, helpful people, travel, and etc. So there are a lot of issues. We might see a lot of issues in our lives, or we might not. But if we see anything, first thing I would recommend, definitely clutter clear that area of your home. And then we have a lot of cures that we can use to make things right. We move around objects, we move around furniture, and we use mirrors, plants, crystals, house blessings, of course, mezuzahs, definitely. And that's, and yeah, clarify. So I'm just going to finish up with two suggestions for you. So if you want an instant change in your life, not promising a big change, and a small change, please move around 27 objects in your home. You don't have to throw away. You can just take one thing from one place and place it to another. And then you're going to do it 27 times with 27 different objects. It can be in the bedroom, in the living room, in the kitchen, doesn't matter, but change it. And also we have this saying in Feng Shui, which I love: if it isn't broken, don't fix it. So say you tried putting the map and you see like your love area or your wealth area is definitely terrible. You have a lot of clutter, you have a missing area, but you're wealthy, thank God. Don't make any changes. So that means whatever energy is there is working for you. And then, so I'm just going to give you two more suggestions if you want to write them down. Okay. So when you're going to sleep, make sure that your side bed doesn't have a lot of books. That creates a lot of thoughts when you're sleeping, and we don't want that. And don't hang a mirror when you're entering your house. Don't hang a mirror right in front of the house, so the energy won't be reflected back. You want that energy to come into your house. And one more thing, the last one, make sure to use bed heads, preferably wood, cotton, or any garment that you like, and that's all. Thank you so much for joining me, and wishing you an amazing journey in life and realizing your dreams with your loved ones.
Thank you, Anna. So we have a few questions, and then we'll leave some time to do that meditation.
Okay.
But let's go ahead and start. So our first question from the audience is, I lost my job as a professor in a very devastating and abusive way on their part. I had to clear out my office quickly and donated a lot of books, but my home office still has a lot of my work objects. The problem is that I had a very successful career, but I was traumatized by this job ending. Now I don't know what to do. Do I throw away the symbols of my success, my writings, remaining books? What do you think?
Okay, my question is this. And first of all, does it pain the professor to see the writings and everything around him? Does it give him pain, or is he proud to have this around him? Because this is what's important. He or she, I'm not sure, is this a she or a he, so it's easier for me to, huh?
She.
Okay. So she is a successful professor. So her work is her work and her effort, and during all the years what she's gathered all together, and it's her work. Whether she's working in that place or not, that's not changing. This is who she is. But if she wants to make a change in herself and not to continue being a professor, or if it's maybe temporarily giving her pain to see those, maybe temporarily, if there is pain in that, maybe don't throw it away, but just take it, put it aside, just hide it for a bit, maybe for a month, like put it in a closet so that you don't see it and it doesn't give pain. And then after a month, just check how you're feeling with all those work. If you feel okay, if you're ready to start, then take them out. If you feel you need a change, then let them stay there for a little bit longer.
Thank you.
Does that answer the question?
I think that's great.
Okay.
Our next question is about directions. And this is someone who maybe joined us late. They asked if you spoke about directions, and I don't think you have.
No. So I'll explain. So there are a few different Feng Shuis right now in the world. The one that started initially is the form school and the 5 elements. It started in China, of course, 4,000 years ago. But the reason why it started, because they wanted to get protected from the winds and from everywhere. So and then it came to West, it came with the compass school and the form school. I am very Jewish, and learning the compass Feng Shui would require a lot of Chinese astrology. So I prefer to use the form school, blending it with the Kabbalistic and my spiritual journey. That's why I don't use directions. I use directions only when you're moving to a house, and what you're looking, who you are, and if you'll be happy facing north or facing south. But other than that, I'm not using, Form School doesn't use compass.
Thank you. Someone is asking about the grid and the 9 squares. They didn't fully understand this concept. Can you expand a little bit
Sure,
about
I'll explain.
that? And maybe I'll just tack on one more question because it also is related.
Okay.
If your house is very oddly shaped, then do you still try to fit into the square?
Yes. The square is the map. So let me see how I can do this. So I'll just do this. I'm just going to do a sketch. My drawing is really not good, so please, I apologize for that. So let's say, can you see? You can see, right? You can see. Okay, so, okay, so let me see how I can explain better. So, all right. So you see are you all able to see the house here? All the colors here, the purple, the green, the yellow, and the blue, these are the maps, but the house is the, oh, let me see. Can I just stop sharing my screen so I can share something else?
Yes.
Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, 1 second. Okay, I'm just going to show you something very quickly. Make sure. Okay, let me put this up here. Okay, I'll share my screen again. This is a sketch that I was working on. 1 second. Share screen. Okay, so this is a sketch that I was working on. This is a very sketch. I just I didn't have time. I couldn't leave. So you see the small square you see here in the middle is the house. Okay, so what I did, I divided the house. You see the greens. I divided the house into 9 areas, and then I labeled it. So the entrance here, the entrance, it writes here, entrance is the career. And right to the left is the self-cultivation area. And then to the right, it's the helpful people. So the reason why this has 2 maps together, because some people, some of us live in houses. So first, we apply the map onto the house. And then if there is grass or yard around it, then we apply the map to the garden, to all around it. So when you apply it, what you have to do is, so let's say you're entering the house, you stay wherever you stay, you should be either in the career, helpful people, or into the self-cultivation area. Let me bring that up again. Here. But if they can ask more specific questions, maybe I can help better, because since I can't draw here, it's very difficult.
Right. Yes. So someone also had a question. They missed your 3 recommendations, and if you could give them to us one more time.
Sure. Here. So move around 27 objects, not these, the others. Okay, so move around 27 objects. If it's not broken, don't fix it. So if you're single, I'm going to add one more. If you're single, and if you're or if you have a partner but you're feeling lonely at home, like really you're not feeling like you're a couple, then don't use arts of lonely and single women like I showed you. So make sure to use couples, like images with couples, artwork with a man and a woman together, dancing. If you're buying objects, make sure to buy 2 objects, maybe 2 birds together, you know, looking at each other. So that's one. Don't keep a lot of books on your bedside. It creates a lot of clutter and thoughts in your head, and also it prevents a good sleep. Don't hang a mirror right in front of your house. There are some houses that you enter, and immediately when you enter, you see huge mirrors. That was very fashionable a while ago. Right now, I don't see a lot, but there are still some houses. So when you do that, that energy, when you go inside, that energy is reflected back with the mirror, and it leaves the house. So we don't want that. We want the energy to come into the house and, you know, just go around the house. Think about it like, you know, when you, okay, so this is a good thing. So when you're holding a hose in your hand, and when you know, just water around, think of it, you're entering your home, you have the hose, and you start pouring water. So imagine how the water would go, where it would get stuck. So maybe there are some sofas next to it, like there is no space to pass. Make sure to give some space. So make sure, just imagine, if the water can pass, energy can pass. If the water can pass, energy is going to get stuck there, and it's going to get stagnant. So the third thing I said about the headbeds, make sure to use a headbed for good sleep. Here is where we get our energy, and we want to protect this. And preferably use wood, cotton, leather, any garment, but make sure it's solid on the back.
And we also have gotten a few questions about bookcases near your bed.
Bookcases are fine. That's okay. But on, like, for example, when you're sleeping on the bed, I mean, before I learned Feng Shui, I used to have, I love reading books. So I used to have 10 books next to me because, you know, that gave me, I thought, but then I would have like all these weird dreams, and I've decided, and I learned afterwards, the most I keep 2 books. That's it, 2 books. And also make sure not to have a lot of alarms around you. Like some people use 3 alarms to wake up. Don't do that. Like 1 alarm is enough. Then that means you're running all the time in life, and you know, we need to stop. We need to calm down, and we need to relax.
And then another question is about your front door. Is the front door always career, or is there a choice for the orientation?
So the front door is either going to be, okay, so the front door is either going to be on the career level, on the career side, or travel, or knowledge. So that's how we all have to map it, making sure that the entrance is going to fall into one of these.
Thank you. I'm going to take one last question, and this one has also come up a few times. How do you map a home that is multiple stories if it's 2 or 3 floors?
Okay, it's a beautiful, very good question. So you first map it on the entrance level, like wherever the door is opening. So if it's opening to your living room, then you map it there. That's your main area. You work there, but then to support the energy, you also apply it on the secondary level. And most of the time, you know, they're exact, like they're exact sometimes they're a bit different, but always go with the entrance floor.
Thank you. So, Eda, would you like to do the meditation before we close?
I'm okay. I can get questions or I can do meditations. It's completely up to you. If there are more questions, we can do the questions too.
So we have some questions and everybody wants to know how they can reach you. If you have a Facebook or Instagram page and how they can get in touch.
Yes, I do. I have I can put in chat and maybe you can share. Let me see if I can put in. Okay, let me see how I can do that.
Yes. So
I have a chat here.
Why don't you put it in the chat? And
okay.
I also, while we're doing that, I want to thank everyone for joining us this evening. It's been wonderful to have you, and I will be following up with a link to the recording. So you will get an email from me tomorrow. Thank you again to tonight's co-sponsors, the Greater Miami Jewish Federation, the Stephen J. Green School of International and Public Affairs, and the program in the study of spirituality at the Green School. We'd love to invite everyone to join us for our next program in this series. The program is on igniting your creative fire with astrology, and it's on March 23rd at 7 p.m. I'm also going to add the link for registration into the chat, so please join us again. And Eda will also drop her information so that you can get in touch.
I'm just going to also put my email address and then my phone if you want to reach me.
Wonderful. So thank you, everyone. We hope you enjoyed this evening, and we look forward to seeing you again very soon.